Hey guys, Old McWaller. I just want to show you guys what I'm up to. So let me show you guys exactly what I was talking about um, last time you saw me about laying the foundation for my garden and what I'm doing. Okay, so take a look really quickly. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about I'll be putting down hardware cloth. You can see for those who don't know what this is, hardware cloth. So I'm laying this down all over my garden to cover this whole thing up. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if you didn't see my last video, I have problems with moles or voles, and um, I want to keep them out of this portion of my yard. I'll also be adding like some of solar uh, those solar things that's supposed to freak them out and keep them away. I'll do all of that. But this is my first level of protection here that will prevent them from being able to dig up. These holes are small enough. This is half-inch um, hardware cloth. And on top of this, I'll be taking cardboard like this and putting it on top of this, right? All over the garden, and then I'm going to be putting mulch on top and putting my beds around and stuff like that. So this whole area is going to be mulched, but this is what's going to be underneath. This will prevent them from coming up. It's starting to rain now, so I'm gonna take a quick break. But let me show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm going all the way up to my fence here, and I'm giving about a 4 or 5 inch um, lip up there to prevent them from digging up through underneath the fence and coming up. And there's an overlap of about um, 4 or 5 inches from one piece of the roll to the other. That's also to prevent them from just digging in between the cracks. Okay, and see, I'm doing that there. Let me show you. This is an old fence, but so you have stuff like this, where they will burrow and break. This old fence is decaying down at the bottom, and they just burrow underneath, and all kinds of rodents and stuff like that come in that way. So I'm trying to block them out from doing that. Let me give you guys an example of what these guys do. You see those? See that right there? They make these little holes all over the place. This is a hole. Where is it? Right there. They make those little holes. They burrow all over the place. I had uh, those are blueberries in those containers. I had them sitting over here. And let me show you what they were doing. Underneath I moved them. You see? There's whole tunnel systems underneath. They couldn't dig into my blueberries, but they were all underneath, tearing it all up. See what I'm saying? So what I'm doing is, so I have an infestation. For some of you, you're not going to need to do something most of you are not going to need to do something as drastic as this. What you'll be doing is, if you just want to lay a protective layer down, what you would do is get a small roll of this stuff. When you build a raised bed, your little square raised bed, you would take this roll and just put, you know, you staple it to the bottom of your raised bed, right? And then that'd be it. That's all you would need, is just that one area. Because I'm trying to make this entire area a beautiful garden that I can walk through and enjoy and it looks nice, doesn't take away from the rest of the yard when we're having guests and stuff like that to come over and they're looking over into my garden area. I want this area to be nice and beautiful. I don't need to have a whole bunch of holes being dug up in. I don't need my flowers being destroyed, my veggies being eaten from the bottom. I don't need any of that. So that's why I'm taking this drastic measure. This is extremely expensive, so I'm going to be cutting all the costs that I can starting off. Probably starting with, I'm not going to be growing, I'm not going to have as many beds out here this first year as I wanted because it costs money to fill those beds. So I'm going to start off with like 3 raised beds, and then I'll have a whole bunch of pots that's growing things. I have pots of old flower plants that we had. I don't know if you see them over there. Previous owners had some, I don't know if you can see those right there. Those are like those planters, those long planters. The previous owners had those. They're all faded, but I kept them because I'm ended up growing something in them. So I have a bunch of pots and stuff out here, bunch of container things to grow, but I'm only going to be doing about 3 raised beds to start, because I am doing all this here. And then, once this is all done, then it's going to be, as the years go, then I'll may add a raised bed or two going forward. But for right now, we're going to do 3 raised beds and a whole bunch of containers, which is cool because, my primary audience is those folk who don't have a lot of space. So you guys get to see what I'll be growing in containers and stuff like that as well. So it's cool. So, like I told you guys, in gardening, counting the costs and stuff like that, your very first year, especially if you're doing it the way I'm doing it, is going to be a very expensive investment. Going forward is not going to be that bad because once you lay this, you don't have to do hardly anything going forward except topping your beds and stuff off every year with some fresh compost and stuff like that. But that's where I'm making my own compost to kind of even cut those costs down. All right, peoples, you're seeing the foundation being laid. I'll come back and show you guys later, after I roll this whole stuff out and as I'm putting down the cardboard. All right. Oh, and this is also galvanized, so this won't rust and stuff like that in the rain and stuff like that. So, all right, people. Talk to you guys later.